next session, which is Shaivism in art, dance, and literature. There is a joint paper by Piyal Bhattacharya ji and Shreetama Chowdhury ji, a comparative study of Sakala and Niśkala Vādya of the last tradition of Ālāpini Veena, one string stick Zither, within the scope of Śaiva iconography and metaphysics by Parśvadeva, 13th century.
Namaste, Namaste Nagaraja ji. Namaste to all of you, and thanks to give me a chance to present my research and paper in this seminar. Thanks to Indic Academy. What I am going to present over here, the connection of our art and Shaivism. First of all, I am personally a Rudraveena artist, student, and here in my parampara, always Veena is a very, very important Vādya over here. Shall we start?
So, Namaskar, I have your PPT. If you want me to share it, I can.
Yes. Please share. Shreetama is sharing. Actually, the detail I have written in my paper, the detail. So here I'm not going to read my paper. So, the help of this slideshow, I will try to explain. So what I will do, my student, another student, Shayok Mitra, he will give the demonstration, the Sakala and Niśkala Vādya, and Shreetama will read the paper. But, I will help her to read all the Sanskrit, the quotation. So a comparative study of Sakala and Niśkala Vādya of the lost tradition of Ālāpini Veena, one string stick Zither, within the scope of Śaiva iconography and metaphysics by Parśvadeva, 13th century. Here first I would like to say Parśvadeva, he was a Jain scholar. Okay. But when I will come to the conclusion, I will explain, being a Jain, scholar, when he has written the Dvida type of Vādya, Sakala and Niśkala Vādya, he mentioned in his book that Shankara Ukta Vidina. Okay. He mentioned the name of Shankara. So it could be some writer, his pre-writer, or it could be, the lineage coming, the Śaiva parampara. Because even in the North India till today, though the Rudraveena got under the hand of Muslims, quote unquote, but even I studied under Bahauddin ji, even Bahauddin ji's father, all they by name they are Muslims, but they follow and they worship Shiva and Saraswati. So that's why the name is Rudraveena is connected to Shiva. And always, they teach us you have to be pure. Your mind has to be pure. Okay. Otherwise, Veena nahi hone wale hai. Isse, if you learn the Veena, if you listen the sound of the Veena, okay, then it is, a journey towards the pure consciousness. आपको ये सीखना है, आपको ये practice करना है, तो आपका journey शिवलोक में होगा. यही उन लोगों का वाक्य है. I translated. So the next, a brief chronological study of the major scriptures on musicology. First, I am taking Sarangadeva, 11th-12th century CE. Ekatantram Devatanam Adhishthanam. Sarangadev spoke about Ekatantri Veena, and one string tube Zither is the basic Veena or the mother Veena from all the other rest of the Veena. Dandaha Sambhu Ruma Tantri Kakubha Kamalapati Indira Vatrika Brahmatummam Nabhihi Saraswati Dorako Vashuki Jiva Sudhamshu Sarigaravihi Sarvadevamai Tasmat Veeneyam Swarvamangala. So that's why till today, even to keep Veena in house, we think it's like a Lakshmi for Sri. Okay. And we preserve Veena at our house, just like, it's our puja muri, it's our puja room. We have to maintain this thing. It is absolutely pure. Now, if I go to the next, Someshwara, 12th century, Veenam Adamukhi Krutva Grahya Vadana Hetave Etat Lakshana Yukte Iyam Yekatantri Virajate Darshanat Parshanadavapi Brahmahatyam Vyapahati Dandaha Shambhu Roma Tantri Kakubhasya Janardanaha Patrika Kamala Tumbam Brahma Nabhi Saraswati Dorako Vashukihi Prokta Jivayam Tu Shudakaraha Dorikayam Sitah Suryastameshahi Pavani. See the previous sloka and this, though as written to different writers, always Danda Shambhu. Danda, the Danda of the Veena, stays Shambhu. If I go to the next, Somnath, 14th century, Raga Vibodha from Andhra Desha. Shambhu Dando Gauri Tantu Yasta Tantu Yasya Ramapati Kakubha Mapatrika Virinchistumbam Bhageshwari Navihi Ahipo Doraka Indu Jivorka Sarikascha Veenasa Api Harate Drishtamatra Devamayatwana Mahapapam. Again, Danda Shambhu. Now, Ahobala, 17th century, Ahobala is talking about Rudraveena, even Shomanatha also. Dandaha Shambhu Ruma Tantrika Kubha Kamalapatihi Indira Patrika Brahma Tumbo Nabhihi Saraswati Dorako Vashukishchaivu Jiva Tatratu Chandrama Mornika Sugraha Yatrameru Syad Devata Laya Sarvadevamai Yasmat Veeneyam Swarva Mangala. So always Swarvadevamai Veeneyam Swarva Mangala. Now next, encoded Shaiva metaphysics in Veena Dhyana Sloka. I will tell Shreetama to read this because for me it's little difficult to speak. Okay, Shreetama, could you please take this? I am here.
Pranam. So here we will briefly touch upon the metaphysics of that is encoded within these dhyana sloka for Veena. Why is it important? We'll come after that. So first, it's important that constantly the danda of the Veena is termed as Shambhu. So Shambhu is derived from the concept of Swayambhu. Etymologically, Swayambhu is one of the nomenclatures attributed to Shiva in Amarakosha. So you see, if you travel to the word, if we focus on the word Shambhu, Shambhu is used in Rig Veda also. So in Rig Veda, it meant it is a carrier of blessings or blissfulness. So it is actually equated if we see blissfulness against the backdrop of Shaiva philosophy, it is actually Ananda. So we'll come to that later in the PPT. So this term has its roots in determining the circular shape of the hollow danda of the Veena. Why the circular shape? Now we will go to the elemental nature. So this vacuum is essential for the sound to travel in technical perspective. So it is important for the sound to travel in vacuum. It is important that in its concentrated form. So this is a practical representation of the concepts of Akasha Tattva, space, and Vayu Tattva, air, as a part of the 5 cosmic elements that are required in the physical manifestation of the universe. So you see, the basic physical manifestation of the universe is encoded within the instrument Veena. That is why all the musicologists have termed the danda as Shambhu. Now, why the circular shape of the danda? The circular shape, if we go back to Tantra philosophy, this circular shape represents Shunya, or it is a graphical representation of Akasha. So what is this Akasha Tattva? To understand that, let's go back to Sangeet Ratnakar. He states that the body obtains sound, the faculty of hearing, porosity, individuation, intelligence, and hollowness from space. To understand Sarangadeva's statement, it is important to investigate the etymological roots. So let's go back to the etymology. Akasha, it means Akash. So to shine or to be visible. Kha is derived from khan, that is to dig, or vyom and vyoman. So you see, for Veena, the hollowness of the danda, why is it called Shambhu? It is because it needs to be hollow. It needs to be dug and cleared off so that it is hollow and the sound travels. So that is why it is very much encoded within the language of the words that is used. So in Indian concept, space is the first element to emanate from the supreme self. So if we look at the Indic philosophy, the basis, the foundation for Akasha Tattva is that it emanates, the first element emanates from the Supreme Self, the Universal Self. So it is the most subtlest form of existence of any element. So from that, the other forms of element comes across, they come out of that element and form the earthly or the physical plane takes place. So this is considered to be the subtlest of all the 5 elements and is signifier of sattva. Its special feature is sound. So the Akash is signified as its special feature or its general feature attribute is sound. Hence, in Kashmir Shaivism, the meditation or spiritual practice based on sound or contemplation on sound is a part of Karana method of sadhana. Karanam Nam Bodhpurvaka Abhyasam Prahu. So this is in Tantra Loka by Abhinavagupta. So he is Panchamannikam. So he is also referring to this concept of Akasha as the contemplation of sound as one of the primary process of sadhana. Now, Shirasa Vamin and Devarar is of the opinion that the word Akasha may be derived from na kash, that which is not visible. So you see, space is not visible. For Akasha, unlike Earth, Earth is the most grossified form of the subtlest element. So you see, since Akash is the most subtlest form, it is not visible. So it is beyond comprehension. Why? To come to that, we will first look into Akasha as a free space. In Aitreya Brahman, determines Akasha as a free space, a hole, an opening through which somebody or something may pass. So Brahma Sutra indicates Brahman as the metaphysical metaphor of Akasha, denoting the highest or supreme reality. So you see, it is beyond the comprehension of the human mind or thought, and hence its another feature is invisibility. So in creative artistic worldview, the concept of space is given the place of the first created principle on which artistic creation proceeds. So emptiness is the prerequisite for the existence. And when you, even for us, to comprehend Akash, we in normal layman's term, it is the empty space. So emptiness in creative purpose, emptiness is important. So this Akash is important. The geometric representation of Akash in Tantra as circle denotes the totality of creation. So not only circle is shunya, it is the totality of creation. It encompasses everything that has been created or that requires creation. So next, I will come to Chanda Upanishad, established the concept of micro and macro cosmic reality by identifying the mystic vacuum space in the heart of the physical body as Hridaya Guha. This anatomical vacuum is considered to be the seat of supreme reality or supreme space in many of the Upanishads, namely Katha and Mant. So you see, this Hridaya Guha, this cavity is there even in anatomically in human heart or any living heart. There's a cavity. So that cavity is very much important, and that cavity is the signifier or a physical representation of this Hridaya Guha, which is the Akasha Tattva. So this Akasha Tattva is again can be seen in architectural or temple architecture, where Garbha Griha is given that is the signifier of that Akasha Tattva. So that signifier or cave temples are based on this concept of the existence of inner and outer space within the body and outside the body, both physical and transcendental. So you see, the Akasha Tattva is both physical and transcendental. When you look from the perspective of terming this Akasha Tattva or the danda of the Veena as Shambhu, it is transcendental. When you look from the perspective of a space which is required for the sound to travel, it is physical. So it is a physical manifestation of the transcendental concept of Akasha Tattva. Next, let's just to sum up this Akasha Tattva, in other words, the state of supreme reality is equated with blissfulness, which in Vedic parlance is Sat Chit Ananda, Satchidananda, and Akasha is its abode. So you see, Akasha is the seat of Satchidananda, and hence that is why it proves that why all these musicologists have termed Danda as Shambhu. So next is Vayu. Let us briefly touch the Vayu. Vayu or Vata, literally means wind or air. It evolves out of the Akash. That's the second element which evolves out of Vayu. So why Vayu is important? We'll come to that. It is the outer air and the inner air, the same concept of micro and macro. Inner air of the body, namely the breath, breathing, and the vital air. So it is the prana that is required, the activity that is required for any physical manifestation to take place in this physical plane. So hence, this Vayu.
In Natyashastra, Bharata mentioned himself, Vayapyatmako bhavet shabdaha swachapi dividho mataha sarvan Śaiva vidyas tatha Śaiva abhidhanavat.
So here the Vayu, the functional quality of Vayu is that it is instrumental in the manifestation of sound, which brings varied levels of vitality in the sound of the veena. The Pratyabhijna philosophy of Shaivagama actually adds this dynamism to the sattva, the absolute reality, known as the concept of prakasha and vimarsha, where prakasha is the light of consciousness or jnana, and vimarsha is the active force or the tirodhana shakti that adds dynamism. So if we go back to the dhyana sloka, there's constantly this term you can find in all the dhyana sloka, Uma. Uma is considered to be Patrika. So that is where the activity comes. The concept of activity, the concept of dynamism. And hence, since this dynamism brings the whole foundational philosophy and helps it to manifest externally in this physical plane. So this is the relationship that establishes.
Shreetama ji, are you coming to towards conclusion?
Yes. So just to go through this briefly, the semblance with the Pratyabhijna, this. Okay, just for the iconographical significance. So this is where you see the Ekatantri Veena. This is in Chalukya dynasty, Śaiva Guha. And then this is the line drawing where you can see the Ekatantri Veena as a signifier of or personification of Śaiva philosophy. This can be seen in Nataraja from Khoi. This is in Cambodia. So you see this, the same philosophy is there in the greater India. So the comparative study of the So Parśvadeva's understanding of Sakala Vādya, Parśvadeva states that rather he specifies two kinds of jawari by the inclusion of lagna and tantrika patrikayam to kinchita lagati nothava. So this small detail implies that the characteristic of the sound changes based on the existence of jawari. So this is what divides Sakala and Niśkala Vādya. In Niśkala Vādya, this is what is missing, the patrika. So you see here, this is also another important thing is that here the kamrika, you can see the small kamrika. So all the Parśvadeva, Sarangadev and Someshvara, they are talking about the use of kamrika. while playing, yes, for sarana. So this technique is now has been developed in Rudraveena, where the kambrika has been removed, and only the fingering technique is there to to produce sound, Sakala Vādya. And so this is the Niśkala Vādya. Parśvadeva states that where kambrika, this thin polished bamboo stick, is not used to produce sound, is Niśkala Vādya. Similarly, Charangadeva is of the same opinion. He is also talking about the removal of kambrika. So also, but interestingly, Someshwara is using the word kalahina. He describes the sound produced by this type of instrument as kalahina. This precisely negates the existence of any distinctive characteristic of the sound. So this is where, comes in living tradition. You can see this kind of music, this kind of Niśkala Vādya in Tuhila, which is still practiced by the Orao tribes and the Mundari tribes of Jharkhand and Odisha. So you see, with the use of kambrika is not there, the use of tarjani is there, where they are trying to produce Niśkala sound. So I am leaving all these and going to the conclusion. So the conclusion here is that Parśvadeva, even though him being a Digambara Jain, he has accepted that Veena produces Niśkala and Sakala sound based on the Śaiva, Shiva's mode of being of Niśkala Shiva and Sakala Shiva. So this external physical manifestation of the concept of Sakala and Niśkala Vādya based on the foundational theory of Sakala and Niśkala Shiva, when expressed through the creative mode of sound, this is, you can see how the thread is under the string. This is where the sound is Sakala and Niśkala. A demonstration will show how the difference in sound. So Parśvadeva, being a Digambara Jain, has accepted Śaiva principles as the theory of sound. This is why he has termed the category of sound produced based on Shankara's theoretics. This clearly indicates that the practice of music on Veena forms as an integral part of Śaiva philosophy and sadhana. So Shayak Mitra will now just quickly show a demonstration of Sakala and Niśkala Vādya.
This is the demonstration of Niśkala Vādya. It's still surviving in the living tradition of Jharkhand and Odisha in the name of Tuhila. The main thing is here is no patrika, no bridge. Only elephant's nose shaped one part is here. So there is no javari. And it's manifest only Bindu Dhatu. And we are not plucking the thing by nails. We are just plucking by touching like this way. With Chandrakala Mudra. This is called Bindu. So we are not moving this hand. Here is no sarana. We are actually moving this hand. And all the Bindu is the suggestive of Omkar. So now I'm shifting the mic in the Sakala Vādya. This is the patrika made out of deer horn, and these are the frets, sarana. So here I will fix this hand and I will move this hand exactly opposite like the Niśkala Vādya. According to Parśvadeva, the Javari is here open, like it's resonating much. So here, Tantri and the Patrika is alagna. Here is a hair gap, a very subtle hair gap. That's why the resonation is coming. But but here also there is no gap. Here is no gap. And here is no patrika also. The sound shona jayeni to. All sounds are piercing. Now I am showing another veena where
Nagaraji, we are running out of time. I would love to have it continue.
I don't know the name of this student of Piyal. Do we have more Veenas, sir?
This is the last one.
Okay.
And here is in the Patrika and the string.
We are not able to stop you. But time.
Yeah, I just ending up here. This is also Patrika, but this Patrika and string has no hair gap. It's totally damp. So the Javari is not open. It's not resonation, like much resonation is not happening here. So it's not like that Veena. So here the Veena resonation is different because of this distance of Patrika and the thread or string. This Veena belongs to Dagar Gharana, and that Kandhavala Veena, which I left in the shoulder, that is belongs to Tansen's Parampara, Tansen tradition. So these both are the Sakala Veena and the Ālāpini, which I showed first, that is the Niśkala Vādya. This is the demonstration. Thank you.